News on Superspring Television, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. Good evening and welcome on the news tonight. Department of State Service, DSS, withdraws treasonable felony charges against Radio Biafra Director Nnamdi Kanu. In business, President Muhammad Buhari writes National Assembly to present fiscal document of 2016 budget on December 22. On the foreign scene, serious opposition say President Bashar al-Assad must step down before any ceasefire agreement. Many thanks for joining me again tonight. I am Simisola Ogunyemi. A magistrate court in Abuja has discharged the director of Radio Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, following the withdrawal of the charges preferred against him by the Department of State Service. Counsel to the accused, Vincent Obefa, disclosed that with the court's ruling, the accused is now a free man, as there are no criminal cases against him in Nigeria or anywhere in the world. Mr. Kanu was standing trial on a 3-count charge of criminal conspiracy, intimidation and treasonable felony, while all processes to secure his release are currently being cleared. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has upheld the verdict of the Rivers State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which nullified the victory of Nyesom Wike in the April 11 governorship election in the state. The court's three-man panel led by Justice Dongbena Mensem ruled that Wike's election did not conform with the Electoral Act. The tribunal, headed by Justice Suleiman Ambruza, had in a judgment on October 24 voided Wike's election and ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to conduct a fresh election in the state. Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has instructed his lawyers to appeal the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which ordered fresh governorship election in the state. In a statement issued by the Special Assistant to the Rivers State Government, Mr. Simeon Nwakaudu, the governor says he will challenge the appeal court's judgment at the Supreme Court so as to exhaust his constitutional right. Governor Wike called on all his supporters and the people of Rivers State to remain calm, as justice will be done at the end of the day. The Kaduna State Police Command has denied report that its men killed 3 members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria during a protest at Tundunwada area in the state capital on Tuesday. The command's public relations officer Zubairu Abubakar revealed that none of the sect members was killed by policemen during the protest. He further explained that the policemen were only sent to the area to forestall any breakdown of law and order, following rumors that members of the movement were planning to embark on a violent protest in the state capital. Meanwhile, the Senate has set up a panel to investigate the bloody clash that ensued between the Shiite sect and the soldiers in the convoy of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, in Zaria, Kaduna State on Saturday. The Senate announced the decision to conduct the investigation after a closed session today. The session was said to have discussed the dangers inherent in the constant clashes between the sect and security agencies. Consequently, the Senate set up an ad hoc committee with members drawn from 7 standing committees of the upper legislative chamber, and the panel is mandated to unravel the remote and immediate causes of the latest conflict. Records from the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital Zaria put the number of the Shiite sect shot dead by soldiers at 61. Away from that now, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says it will announce the date for the supplementary elections in Southern Ijaw after consulting with critical stakeholders. The consultation with national chairmen of political parties contesting the yet-to-be-concluded Bayelsa election and the respective governorship candidate is expected to begin Thursday, as part of the wide consultation outlined by the Commission. On Friday, December 18, 2015, the Commission will engage with civil society organizations and the media. The December 5th governorship election in Southern Ijaw was cancelled as the INEC cited cases of violence, ballot box snatching, and hostage-taking of electoral officers for its action. The All Progressives Congress in Ekiti State has responded to Governor Ayodele Fayoshe's allegations that the APC was planning to illegally use the Supreme Court to obtain the mandate. The party's publicity secretary, Taiwo Latumbosun, held that Governor Fayoshe's alleged fraudulent attempt to draw the support of the international community to poll fraud was an impeached attempt to legitimize the biggest electoral fraud in Nigeria's history. He added that the governor was running away from his shadow after failed bids to beg President Buhari, who he abuses daily. The APC urged Governor Fayoshe to explain to Nigerians what he meant in Ekiti poll fraud tape, where he said he collected INEC soft copies that he printed to win his election. While ahead of the governorship election in Ondo State, the socio-political group Movement for Good Governance and Ethical Leadership has urged the leadership of the All Progressives Congress to ensure that its candidate emerges through an acceptable democratic process. The Director General of the group, Asiwaju Kehinde Bello, who spoke at the 6th anniversary of the movement, said free, fair and credible primary elections must be conducted to determine the party's candidate. He stressed that the APC candidate in the 2016 election must be generally acceptable by all and must emerge through a process by stakeholders as genuine internal democracy. A candidate of the All Progressives Congress who contested for the Lagos State House of Assembly in Surulere Constituency 2, Deji Awobotu, has called on politicians to embrace the act of giving. Mr. Awobotu gave the charge on Tuesday, which is today, in Lagos, when he gave out some bags of rice to the people under his constituency.
We need to understand that the act of giving is something that is embedded in the system. Whether you're in a position or not, giving should be a way of life. So if you're in a position to make it a lot easier for you to even do more than what you should. Technically, for me, I see it as a way of life to assist people, to assist the less privileged. That's why I'm actually in politics.
When you give, so that you will receive. And that's what God says. Give those less privileged, people that are rejoice. So let them rejoice. And that is why
President Muhammadu Buhari has assured ECOWAS member nations that Nigeria would remain steadfast in its commitment and support to democracy and good governance. The president gave the assurance at the opening session of the 48th session of the Economic Community of West African States and the 40th anniversary of the regional body. President Buhari, who is playing host to the event, observed that the organization may have recorded concrete achievement, but still needed to grapple with the challenges that pose risk to the peace and security of West African people. Meanwhile, the president of Senegal and the chairman of ECOWAS, Macky Sall, commended the various F-14 peace issues, the effort to conquer Ebola and fight against terrorism. The summit will hold for 2 days in the country. Nigerian troops and the Civilian Joint Task Force have foiled planned attacks by 4 suicide bombers in the outskirts of Maiduguri. A spokesman for the military, Colonel Sani Usman, said preliminary investigation revealed that the suicide bombers were earlier observed trying to bypass a military checkpoint through a close-by village before they were ordered to take the right road. Few meters to the checkpoint, however, one of the bombers swiftly detonated a vest while the troops gunned down the other 3 suicide bombers before they could detonate the explosives. Colonel Usman also revealed that one of the civilian JTF died while 4 other persons sustained various degrees of injuries. The Nigerian police has offered scholarship to children of an assaulted civilian in the Isheri area of Lagos State. Addressing a gathering in Abuja, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arashi, said the police officer involved in the act has been relieved of his duties and remanded in prison. The police high command also offered scholarships to 355 children of some officers deceased and serving. The IGP explained that the gesture is aimed at supporting members of the public who have suffered human rights abuses by police officers and also assist children of serving and deceased police officers. If you just joined me, you're watching the Flagship News on Superscreen Television, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. Coming up in business, President Muhammadu Buhari writes National Assembly to present fiscal document of 2016 budget on December 22. Join us again after the break.
Just numbers?
No, people. Your friend.
His wife?
Their father.
Our neighbor.
And me. Yes, me. Living with HIV. If you knew, would you still shake hands with me? Remember, it could just be the man in the mirror.
Glad to have you back on the news and business news. President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the National Assembly seeking permission to present the 2016 appropriation bill to a joint session of the Senate and the House of Representatives members on December 22. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Aliyu Sabi, who made the disclosure, said the Senate considered the request of the President and granted him permission to present the budget as requested. The presidential memo for the presentation of the 2016 budget came just as the Senate approved the medium-term expenditure framework submitted to the National Assembly. The consideration and approval of the NTEF paves the way for the presentation of the annual appropriation bill. An appeal has been made to the Senate to make public the content of the Postal Commission bill that recently passed through its first reading at the National Assembly. The appeal was made by the umbrella body of postal operators in Nigeria today in Lagos State. Here's the report.
These are operators of Courier Business Nigeria under the umbrella of Association of Nigeria Courier Operators. They are worried about the passage of the Postal Commission bill, which they say is taking too long to be passed into law by the Senate. Their fear is that the bill, which has spent so long under the 6th and 7th Assembly without being passed and has now undergone the first reading, might have been conducted by the Senate. A perception that brought about this latest agitation that the Senate should make the bill pass.
A bill just surfaced, whether it is the last executive bill, which we did not even have the copy, or another private member bill that is being read as at the moment. So the copy that we have, I can tell you, is almost 8 years old. Is it the same bill that's still being read? That is just our concern, because every other bill thereafter we do not have a copy.
We are being regulated presently by NIPOS. It is not about secret court. It's not about something that is secret. It's about business. And NIPOS also point out that they don't also even know the stage of that, they don't know the context of that bill. And so you cannot imagine our problem, our challenges. The content from what we submitted, we're not very sure if it has not been doctored.
Not be excited at any passage of any bill that we didn't make any contribution. It's as simple as that.
While they advocated having a copy of the bill, they are also tasking the Senate on its speedy passage, just as they lend their voice to the major challenge in their operations.
We need the House to come clear, even publish what is there. Maybe we can get a copy from the not even government press right now, because until it's passed to law, it does not go to government press. How do we get a copy so that we can prepare for a public hearing should it come up?
I was asking about the government areas in Nigeria. And they have an association called ALGOM, Association of Local Governments, whatever, in Nigeria. And they have their certificate papers which vehicles are supposed to procure. If you procure those documents from one local government area in Nigeria, it's supposed to be universal all over the country, but that is not the case. And it's giving us a whole lot of problems. So you can just put that identity in your write-up, because it is a very, very pertinent setback.
These stakeholders are, however, optimistic that the Postal Commission Bill, if passed into law, will boost career operations, enhance the nation's economy, and also address other challenges causing a major setback for the sector. I think you're way G-Boy, Super Screen News.
The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos State has convicted and sentenced 9 foreigners for stealing over 3,000 metric tons of crude oil from Nigeria. The vessel and its crew were intercepted by the Nigerian Navy ship during a routine patrol in Lagos on March 26 while trying to export the stolen product. After investigation, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) on June 18 arraigned the foreigners and their vessel before Justice Ibrahim Buba on a 4-count charge of conspiracy and illegal dealing in petroleum products. The judge then sentenced the 5 Filipinos and 4 Bangladeshi nationals to jail term of 5 years each, while their vessel and the cargo on board are to be forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria. Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose signed into law the 2016 appropriation bill alongside 5 separate bills. Governor Fayose, after signing the bill into law in his office, said his administration will continue to be participatory and accountable to the people. He also promised to make copies of the budget available for public, as well as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission (ICPC). Meanwhile, the honorable members led by the Speaker, Kola Oluwawole, said they will continue to partner with the governor to do their best in the overall interest of the people. Still ahead on the news tonight, serious opposition say President Bashar al-Assad must step down before any ceasefire agreement. Details of this story shortly.
Just numbers.
No, people. Your friend.
His wife.
Their father.
Our neighbor.
And me. Yes, me. Living with HIV. If you knew, would you still shake hands with me? Remember, it could just be the man in the mirror.
Glad to have you back away from Nigeria. Now on the foreign scene, the main Syrian opposition bloc says it will not agree to a ceasefire unless President Bashar al-Assad signs an agreement to step down as the president of Syria. The comment came as the United States and Russia prepare for the next Syrian peace talks in New York on Friday. The Syrian National Coalition said it was not officially invited to the New York talks, but say their views and opinions will be expressed through ambassadors of countries they consider as friends of Syria. The coalition, headed by Khalid Khoja, aims to replace Syria's current leadership with a transitional government after achieving international recognition. More than 250,000 people have died since Syria's conflict erupted in March 2011. North Korea's highest court has sentenced the Canadian Christian pastor to to a life term of hard labor for crimes against the state. The 60-year-old pastor was arrested in the capital Pyongyang after he traveled there in January for humanitarian work. The Toronto-based pastor with South Korean origin was shown at a news conference earlier, confessing to a plot to overthrow the government and set up a religious state. Mr. Lim was sentenced after a 90-minute trial at the North Korean Supreme Court. A mass prisoner exchange is underway between Houthi fighters and government forces in Yemen amid United Nations-sponsored talks to end fighting in the Arabian Peninsula country. The swap is taking place a day after the truce came into force to halt fighting in 9 months of civil war between the Iran-allied Houthis based in Yemen's north and Arab coalition-backed fighters loyal to President Rabu Mansour. A member of the Prisoners' Affairs Committee, Mokhtar Al-Rabash, confirmed that an agreement was in place to swap 375 opposition fighters for 285 pro-Hadi soldiers. An official of the Houthi-run Prisons Authority in the capital Sana'a also confirmed that southern prisoners boarded buses on their way to the swap venue in central Yemen. Austrian authorities are investigating 2 French citizens for possible links to last month's attacks in Paris that killed 130 people. State prosecutor Robert Hausnettner said the 2 suspects arrested in a shelter in Salzburg are suspected of participation in a terrorist organization, with investigations focused on their possible connection to the November 13 attacks. Mr. Hausnettner said the suspect arrived in Europe from the Middle East but refused to give further details that would jeopardize the investigation. In sport, protesting FC Taraba players have laid siege at the government house in Jalingo and are vowed to stay put until the governor addresses their 11-month salaries plight. The players who began sleeping at the government house on Monday said the officials failed to honor their words to also pay their 4-month March bonuses. A key player of the Jalingo side said the player are determined to continue with the open tent non-violent demonstration as long as it prefers immediate solution to their sufferings. FC Taraba lost their top flight status at the end of the 2014-2015 MPFL season and may not be allowed to register in the Nigerian National League except players' indebtedness as settled. Suspended FIFA Vice President, Michael Platini, will boycott an Ethics Committee hearing into allegations of corruption on Friday. Lawyers for the Frenchman, who is also president of UEFA, believe the verdict is already announced. The 60-year-old Platini is accused of receiving £1.35 million, disloyal payment from FIFA President Sepp Blatter, who is also banned and facing ethics charges over the claim. Blatter has compared the investigation against him to the Inquisition, while Platini's attempt to lift his 90-day provisional ban from football denied by the Court of Arbitration for Sport on December 11. Platini still hopes to be a candidate to replace the outgoing Blatter in the World Football Governing Body's presidential election on February 26, 2016, but can only stand if he is cleared. And finally, in sport, the son of ex-World Athletics chief Lamin Diak is one of the 4 officials facing a disciplinary hearing this week over an alleged doping cover-up. Papa Masata Diak, who is a former consultant for the IAAF and ex-IAAF anti-doping director Gabriel Dole, are charged with breaches of the IAAF's Code of Ethics. The charges relate to the payment of about £435,000. Up next is entertainment news.
Poison drummer Ricky Rocket has revealed that he's battling oral cancer. The 54-year-old opened up about his diagnosis on live TV on Monday and revealed that he was diagnosed over the summer. He also revealed that he has been keeping the diagnosis a secret to keep it out of the media because, amongst other reasons, he didn't want people coming up to him telling him anybody's horror stories about cancer. Angelina Jolie may be busy filming in Cambodia, but she found time to do a little shopping with her hubby Brad Pitt. The 40-year-old actress was spotted on Sunday at an outdoor market with Pitt during their trip to the country. The two are currently in the country as Jolie Pitt films First They Killed My Father, a daughter of Cambodia. The couple's son, 14-year-old Maddox, who was born in the country, is also involved in the film's production along with his brother Pat. She told the press that the movie will help teach Maddox about his heritage. "He's my son, but he's also a son of Cambodia," she said. "This is the time for our family to understand all that means to him and us. We desire to tell this story in the most truthful and accurate way possible will be my tribute to the strength and dignity of all Cambodian people."
And that's it on our flagship news package for tonight. But before we go, a quick recap of our top stories. We told you that the Department of State Service has withdrawn charges against Radio Biafra Director Nnamdi Kanu. In business, we told you that the President has reached into the National Assembly to present fiscal document of the 2016 budget on December 22. And on the foreign scene, serious opposition say President Bashar al-Assad must step down before any ceasefire agreement. Many thanks for joining me again tonight. I am Misola Ogunyemi. Good night.